Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey, hi.
Hey, it finally worked. Hi.
Finally worked. Yes. Right, right. Great. So, but thank you so much for joining me this fine evening and for being willing to share your journey with yoga and mindfulness. And for the ones watching this live sesh, Aarti, please tell them a little about yourself.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so happy. I'm a digital marketing specialist. Recently became a yoga teacher in July. I've been doing yoga since I was a kid. I properly picked it up in 2020 when the pandemic happened. I'm gonna try to interrupt this call. Don't mind. But
No worries.
just a little bit about myself.
Great, thank you. So, how did you get introduced to the world of yoga? Was it that first class your friend forced you to take with her, or something you accidentally got onto and continued because you liked it very much? How did it happen?
So my brother and I actually started doing when we used to go to Hyderabad for holidays, and my mom enrolled us in these like fitness classes. We used to do yoga, we used to do karate, like so many things. This is when we were kids, 7, 8 years old, and then from there we didn't really do much. Like my brother went on all of that. I didn't carry yoga with. Um, and my best friend started pulling me to Dubai, but I only started during the pandemic, and I was working, being cooped up in the room felt so weird. So that's when I started yoga properly. Yeah. That,
Yeah, right, great. So what type of yoga do you practice and teach?
so I practice different kinds of yoga. I practice yin, I practice vinyasa, I practice hatha, but I primarily teach vinyasa yoga.
Oh, nice. So what I mean, what do you prefer or enjoy the most about each of them, like the Zen or Vinyasa or Hatha? What is it that you, yeah, enjoy the most about those particular forms of yoga?
Okay, I'll start with the first one. To start with, there's no one form of yoga that I particularly love. I love yoga as the practice itself. The forms are just more of something that different teachers created, and they were catered to different needs. They were catered to different people. For me, yoga is more like the days when I just sit down and meditate, and that is yoga as well. But what I love about the different forms is that certain day I'm feeling, let's say I'm feeling like I really need a good flow, I'll do vinyasa. If there's days when I want to focus on strength building, or if I want to focus on mobility, I'll choose hatha. And then if I just want to slow it down, I'll choose yin or restorative yoga.
Yeah, yeah. And you're a certified yoga teacher now. I love this big life update. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And yeah, I see in some of your posts how much teaching yoga is as much of a journey for you as it is for your students. So, what has this teaching journey been like so far? How has becoming a yoga teacher impacted your practice?
So I think I practiced more regularly after going through the course. So it's a 200-hour course. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's given me a better insight into the practice. And hopefully someday it will become a full-time thing, because this is something I want to pursue in my life, not just on the mat, but off the mat. I would like to be part of more communities where I can teach, where I can learn. But overall, the journey has helped me with health. Teaching other people has given me a sense of purpose. But yeah.
Great, great. And very often I see in your posts how you have a practice of journaling, right? And I read about how incorporating journaling into your routine helps us become more mindful. So I want to ask you how journaling has helped you along this journey.
So journaling, I do two kinds of journaling actually. There's one that I do during my class, or rather post my shavasana, and there's one that I do. I pick one day of the week where I choose to reflect on my week. The one that I do during practice or right after practice, it helps me reflect on what did I do on the mat today that helped me, that made me feel which corners of my body did I feel a bit weird in? Was it my hips? Was it my shoulders? And then what did I do during my day that probably increased my tension there? It just helps me reflect better. And then when I go onto the mat the next time, I'm a little more aware of what I'm doing. And I really enjoy that.
Right, right. And we're all busy leading this fast-paced lifestyle, and taking a few moments to sit with ourselves and indulge in some reflection sure goes a long way. And this also gives me plenty of reasons why I should start journaling too. So thank you for sharing that piece. And while we're at this, I can't help but pick up the mention of sound healing that I see you talk about. It was when you posted about it that I became aware of such a thing even existing, sound therapy, and that there are instruments that sound healing practitioners use. So the few seconds of just watching that video where you were playing the happy, am I pronouncing it right? Uh,
The tongue, okay, so there's different names for it, but the tongue drum, yes, yes. That.
right. Yeah. And gosh, it was so peaceful. But please tell us more about how that whole thing works.
So basically, it's sort of like there's different frequencies. So when you listen to certain types of music, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel pumped up. It makes you feel that you can achieve anything. That's why Beyonce has like all of these people that love her. But when it comes to sound healing, we get frequencies on this instrument that helps people with the parasympathetic nervous system, that, well, parts of our brain that help calm down. These are also parts of the brain where, it helps you sleep, it helps you go into a meditative state. So it's basically the frequencies that I play on the drum that help relax people around me. And recently, whenever I do a class, I play this during Shavasana. I don't play any other music in my class. So people come up and say Shavasana was the best part, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or if you just said that you didn't enjoy the rest of my class, but you only enjoyed the Shavasana. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
I know, I know. I was just going to say that. But, lastly, I want to touch base on yoga and mental well-being. Even before mental health became such a widespread topic during the pandemic and after that, when we study the roots and means of yoga, we'll see that yoga has always been such an enormous positive contributor to like mental well-being. And even for me as a person, ever since I started to consciously make yoga a part of my routine, I've observed how it creates mental clarity and calmness. And you see, for me, yoga is both mental and physical at the same time. And it's been shown to be true that yoga relieves chronic stress patterns, even. And I know I have seen you advocate for awareness about mental well being too. And I remember once in one of your posts, you even talked about how people often mistake mental health for mental illness. So, what's your take on how or why that's being misunderstood? Where do you I mean, what's the missing link that seems to be here?
I would say stigma. Like a lot of people, like it's hard to believe in something you can't see in general. So if you have a broken bone or if you have thyroid or diabetes, you see the physical impact very quickly. And unfortunately, the issue with mental health or mental health issues is that you can't see, those nuances. You mistake them for other illnesses or other things that you're not doing right. So I think the stigma around it has been so accepted that people don't really notice that, mental health is the same as physical health. In fact, it's more important because if your mental health is in the right place, then your physical health will automatically be impacted. And then mental illness is actually, so I remember one of, I met a psychologist who told me, a psychologist, and she told me how there's a saying in Arabic. So mental illness has one term. So this is your schizophrenia, this is your, this is autism, this is bipolar disorder, all of these come under mental illness. And then there's depression and anxiety that comes in as, in Arabic, the term is, these are illnesses caused by the person. So these are illnesses caused by your brain, by thinking too much. And that's the word for it in Arabic. So this is the stigma that has been carried forward, that if you're depressed, it's because it's your fault, or if you're anxious, it's your fault, it's all your brain. Like it's something that comes from you, comes from within. So I feel like because that stigma is there, people don't really care about their mental health, or when they start caring about it, it's only when they go through a period of depression or a period of anxiety. But it's become so common that I feel like hopefully one day that stigma will go away and that mental health is taken care of so that it doesn't become an illness. You know what I mean? I think I spoke too much there, but you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, but no, that makes so much sense. Especially that story that you shared about what your psychologist said. Yeah, it's amazing. So you've been practicing yoga almost like since your childhood, and you've been journaling, indulging in sound healing, all of it converging into a beautiful living style of mindfulness. So, and you're someone who aligns with the fact that yoga is a way of life, and not just a way to exercise or meditate. So it's, yeah, and it's been my pleasure to have had this sweet little chat with you. Such rich takeaways I've got from this quick catch up with you. So thank you for upholding a mindful lifestyle that inspires me and many others like me. And thank you so much for your time as well. Appreciate it.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to have shared this.
Yeah, yeah. And there's Pooja who says, can you do more of these? It's great to hear both your yoga journeys. Definitely. I'm actually trying to do the same. That's why I actually started this series called In My Yoga Space, where I have people into my yoga space, where they share what it's like to be in their yoga space. So, I mean, it might sound a little funny, but yeah, I don't want to. Yes. So, do we have any questions?
I actually have a question for you. Are you planning on taking a yoga teacher training at any point?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Some of my friends have asked me that as well. Well, you see, basically the thing is, with a lot of other things that I do, I tend to, I mean, from a small age, I have had this thing told to me that I read about that. If you want to know, I mean, learn something better, you have to start teaching it, whether it could be like small concepts that you're learning in your textbooks or little forms of art that you're trying to learn. And because of that, I've cultivated this habit of starting to teach while I'm learning something, even before I myself am like quite good at it to be able to teach someone else. So it's happened with me when I've been trying to I mean, when I used to when I used to be a developer, or when I've been switching to the design space, I've tried jumping to the teaching part before, I mean, while I'm even learning. And with yoga, especially, I don't want to do that. I want to first, completely learn. And, with series like this, talking to people like you, I want to know about different perspectives, different journeys, and really see I mean, talking to people like this, right? It really unlocks a lot of new perspectives that you can look at this whole thing as. And that's what I want to be focusing on for a while before I start, taking up the uh, courses where I mean, that shapes me to be a yoga instructor myself. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, down the line, maybe yes, but at this point, I'm in no rush.
That's fair, but like one thing I want to tell you from my own experience and from other teachers that have, or well, the teachers that taught me, is that when you actually start learning to become a teacher, that's when you start learning yoga, and then you don't stop learning yoga from there. So no matter whatever level you get to, you're a student right off the bat once you start. So I think it's going to be an exciting journey if you decide. It's going to be really cool.
For sure, yes. And yeah, and Akhila is my best friend, by the way. She says she's looking forward to more episodes in this series and learn more. Thank you so much, Akhila, for dropping in. And Ronak has a question. What are some misconceptions people have about yoga? How have you been able to dispel those?
Cool. Okay. So also Pooja is my best friend. So I like that both of our best friends are on this call or on this live. I feel like such a boomer. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so there's two major misconceptions people have about yoga. That one, it's just stretching. And the second one, a lot of people think it's a workout or some form of exercise. And both, I usually don't like to use the word wrong because I don't know, everyone has their opinions, but yoga is not just stretching. One of the benefits of yoga is it helps you gain flexibility in a way that Pilates probably does. But yoga is a spiritual practice. It's not a workout. It's not some form of fad. It's not some form of trend that a lot of people think it is. And sometimes it's infuriating. It's like, oh, I went to a yoga class today and I got my Lululemon and I got my matcha. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what yoga is. Like a lot of the theories of the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, Shiva Sutras, Yoga Sutras, all of these tie into the practice. Yoga actually wasn't even a physical practice when it started. It was meditation. It was literally people sitting down, sages sitting down, and silently observing the world. And then it started, like when Swami Vivekananda came in, he started making it more of a physical practice. He took it to the US. So this is how, it kind of became Westernized in a sense. What do I do to dispel it is I probably share a little more about the philosophies on my page. I talk to people about it. And yeah, that's the best I can do for now.
Yeah, that makes so much sense about yoga being westernized as well. I see a lot of posts that say, oh, I've been doing hot yoga. I've been doing, I mean, there are different forms of yoga that come out. And there's this yoga instructor from the UK that I follow on Instagram who talks about this. I can't exactly recollect the exact words he says, but he says there are martial arts like Kung Fu. And people don't come up with variations of that like this. Like, there's even naked yoga right now. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for sharing that. And oh, hey, my other friend Hemant is here, and Sal is here. Hi, Sal. How did I miss your messages? Thank you for joining in. But yeah, does anybody else have any other questions?
DOGA, what is DOGA? Yoga with dogs?
I guess so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
There's yoga with goats that I know about. I watched it on YouTube videos, and it's basically like the energy of the goats helps you with your asana, and I'm like, how? Like, what does that mean? It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I saw this one in a movie too. That's how I got to know that there is this thing called, yoga with goats. So in the scene, right, they show like a bunch of chicks doing yoga, taking this yoga class there, and then they have a goat standing over them when they're in the, one of the poses, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
it's too random. It's way too random.
Yeah, and yes, Pooja just confirmed that yes, toga is yoga with dogs. And just like you, we don't get the logic as well. I think we can wrap it up then if there's nothing, no other questions. Yeah, but again, Aarti, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And until we meet again, take care and keep spreading love.
Thank you.
Bye.